Hey everyone, it's Tina with Create with Tina. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am super excited to create a two-page layout with you, but I am going to be using the Heirloom Arrangements card kit from Stampin' Up, and we are not going to make cards with it. We are going to make some cute layouts, but in this video I'm just going to put together one layout. So what I'm showing you right here is the card bases and some of the dies that came in the kit that I chose, as well as the crumb cake cardstock, crumb cake ink, and the stamp set that comes in the Heirloom Arrangements kit. Now I'm going to grab two pieces of basic white cardstock for my base because I need something to build the scrapbook page on. And I'm going to select 3 different card bases from the kit and put the rest aside for more layouts I will be creating later. And then here are the die cuts that I have popped out and decided to use because they match the card bases really well. Now I should also tell you that I will be using crumb cake ink, and I'm using my full-size ink pad, but the crumb cake mini ink pad does come in the kit. Just for ease of doing the video, I decided to use my larger ink pad. And I'm going to start by cutting my photo mats. Now I'm a fundamental scrapbooker and I generally use 4x6, 4x4, or 3x4 photos only on my layouts. I do that because those sizes are easy for me to print at home using my Epson Picture Mate printer and an app. So those are the sizes. And I've gone ahead and cut that one sheet of crumb cake cardstock up into different photo mats, and I decided to add a little bit of dimension by inking them, just the edges of it, with the crumb cake ink pad. So here they are. They're all cut and they're all inked. I knew you didn't need to watch me do that, and I'm going to get busy building the layout. So we're going to start with page 1, and I decided for the pink card base, I only wanted to use half of it. So I know that it's 5.5 inches wide, so I just cut it in half and I set the other half aside to save for another project. Now, of course, I really liked the blue card base. I am a very male-dominated family, so I do tend to pick more of the neutrals and blues than I do of the pinks and oranges and yellows. So what I'm going to do here is start looking at how I want page 1 to be. And I know I want my focal point photo to be on page 1. So the one 4x6 I cut will land on page 1. And I'm arranging everything kind of with a border around the base page. And it looked kind of just boring. So I grabbed one of the stamps from the stamp set and I'm inking it up and I'm stamping it in 2nd and 3rd generation ink around the card base around the scrapbook page base to create a border around those card base pieces. So you can see here in the video, I've just kind of stamped it all the way around, nothing fancy, nothing even, 2nd and 3rd generation, just so there's a light bit of color in the background. And I'm putting those card bases back down. Now I've just kind of arranged them very nonchalantly on the page because I'm just trying to create an anchor point for where my photos will go. When I build a scrapbook page, the background is always my anchor piece to highlight my photos. So I decided I like these 2 photo sizes for page 1, and I'm going to start adding in some of those die cuts that I cut out. And I'm just going to kind of puzzle them around the page and see what I like. Now, several of them I am just going to use my stamp and seal and add directly to the page, and some of them I will use some dimensionals and pop them up just to give a little visual interest to the page. And I noticed there were a couple of butterfly die cuts, but there was also a cute butterfly stamp on the stamp set that comes in the box, and it was a smaller size. So I decided to stamp one in crumb cake, why not? And I cut it out. And so I am using 2 butterflies on this page and then a few die cuts. And I liked the stamped butterfly because it added visual interest by being a different size than the first butterfly I added. So I'm getting all of the elements stuck down to the page and just building it up around the page. Now, something I wanted to make sure and point out is you can see that I've left kind of an even border on the top and bottom and the outside edge but a smaller border on the inside edge. And that's because this is going to be a 2-page layout. And so I want it to flow naturally right into the second page when I'm looking at it in my scrapbook. So the border is going to be bigger on the top, bottom, and outside. So nothing fancy here, just layering some dimensionals. The one item not in the box that I decided to pull in was some twine, some baker's twine that I had laying around because I thought it would be fun to add a little bit of visual interest with a bow. Baker's twine is so thin, it doesn't add much bulk or weight to my album. I'm what you would call more of a flat Stanley stamper or scrapbooker because I do a lot of scrapbooking, so I want to get more pages in my album than less. All right, so we're about ready to get started on page 2. I am just finishing the final touches, and then here we are with page 2, and you can see I've stamped that same border around where I'm going to add my full card bases. So on this page, just 2 of the card bases, and I'm going to mimic the same style I did on page 1. So I'm going to layer the 2 card bases together, kind of at an angle for visual interest, and then I'm going to add my photo mats. And for this page, I am using 3 4x4 photo mats. Now, a rule of thumb I have is I rarely ever do less than 5 photos on a 2-page layout, just because I do take a lot of photos and I want to get my story told. So I'm adding 3 4x4 photos on this page. And I did add a little bit of blue to this page from another from another card base. The card kit comes with 2 of every color of card base, so it was no problem to cut another one in half and use it just so that the pages are going to look like they go together. So I'm getting my card bases where I want them, and then again I am going to just start adding my die cuts all around the page to see how I like the look. Some will be added directly to the page, some will be added using dimensionals, and that will give a lot of visual interest without a lot of bulk. Now remember, I did 2 butterflies on the first page, so I decided I needed a butterfly on this page as well, and there were 3 butterflies I believe in the kit that were die cuts, plus some that you could cut out of a tag. So you're going to see I'm going to add a 3rd butterfly to the page, and you'll see that where I add it, it's strategically placed to create a visual triangle on the page from where the other butterflies were added. I'm also bringing in a bow on this page so that I have it on both pages. There's bows on page 1 and page 2. So here we go. There's the butterfly I want to bring in. And can you guys see the visual triangle that it creates? All right, we're almost done. I'm loving how this page has come together. Your eye will be drawn to the photos because everything is pulled together and slightly overlapping to make sure it's one cohesive layout and there are no islands on the page. By islands, I mean just images or photos floating around all by themselves. You want everything to be cohesive. Now I'm trying to decide between 2 different packs of embellishments, and I decide on the gold gems. Now, even the placement of my gems is going to be keeping that visual triangle in mind. So I'm going to use 3 gems in a cluster every time I use the gems, and I am placing them strategically so that your eye starts in the lower left corner of the scrapbook page and finishes at the lower right corner, so you see the whole page when you look at it. So there we go. That is my take on a card kit turned into a scrapbook layout. I have 3 full layouts I'm going to show you guys. This is just layout 1, so be sure and check out my website that I'll link to in the description if you want to see more.